Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Club Wine Podcast. Today I'm joined by Mr. Alex Knott and a very, very special guest. Now this special guest has choked me since I was 16, 17 years old and has been responsible for some of the most valuable lessons I've learned, not only in BJJ but in life as a whole, and that is none other than Mr. Jamie Phillips. Jamie, welcome.
Thank you, boys.
This is Jamie's second time on the podcast. The first one was an OnlyFans episode. We can't release that to the public.
An OnlyFans one.
So
you never know. It's on the cutting room floor,
You've just said you used to choke me when I was 16, and now we're talking about OnlyFans.
I know, innit? Those two things in the same sentence. There's something wrong there. But there we go.
But,
at least maybe they'll get some clicks. Who knows?
Well, it was our fault, me and Matthew, because the whole camera setup failed and it all went wrong. But as part of the game, we're here again.
Absolutely.
So let's get cracking.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, obviously we went through this in the first podcast, but I still want to give people an idea of the pedigree of Jamie. Jamie is the head coach at Fight Project Gym. If you don't know what Fight Project Gym is, then die. I'm joking. But yeah, Jamie's the head coach down there at the BJJ in Fight Project Gym, BJJ black belt. Been in the game for ages. Started when you were young.
Yeah, fairly young. Yeah, absolutely.
And worked his way up to a black belt on a long journey. Did some freestyle wrestling.
Yeah, a little bit of freestyle wrestling, traditional jiu-jitsu, all that kind of stuff.
Catch wrestling.
Catch wrestling.
A bit of boxing as well.
A little bit of boxing in the army, yeah. So, yeah, I've always dabbled in combat sports. Always dabbled. So
how... Go on.
No, it's fine.
So I was going to ask, how did you actually get into BJJ? Because we answered this in the first podcast, but we'll keep it.
Like I say, fell into it. I was doing a lot of traditional Japanese martial arts when I left the forces. Got the bug, to explore a little around, see what was around, and stumbled upon what was Gracie Barra Swansea back then, which is now CRA. Went in there, had my ass handed to me. I thought, Jesus Christ, I need to learn this stuff. And like a lot of people, I think, who around the time it's like 2007, we're talking here, didn't really understand what BJJ actually was, other than seeing it in the old UFC tapes and all that kind of stuff. And then, one thing led to another. I kind of decided to ditch all the traditional stuff I was doing and then start doing jiu-jitsu then. And settled, found my home with Pedro Bessa, BJJ, after a short stint in Gracie Barra Swansea. Like I said, in the last time we did this, we didn't understand the politics of it at the time. Yeah. People were talking about this, I think Pedro might have even been a brown belt at the time, but a high-level, Brazilian guy in Bristol that was coming down to South Wales, and he trained the boys in Port Talbot. Really, really good coach in Kev Cox. He was a purple belt at the time under Pedro, and then Pedro was coming down all the time then, so we were training in Taibach and going up to Cardiff, and Neil Williams, Wagon, who's the head of the UK BJJ, he was training there as well. Greg Creel. So really good
boys,
man. Yeah, all the boys. So cracking bunch, and I just fell in love with training with it, with them, and trying to develop myself in jiu-jitsu then, But that's kind of the short version of it. Traditional martial arts, stumbled into jiu-jitsu, and here we are. Rest was history,
Yeah, because I think everyone has their own unique path to BJJ.
Oh, completely.
Like some people do it because they want to fight. Some people do it because they want to learn how to defend themselves, lose weight. Alex, why did you want to start BJJ?
I don't know, just want to stop being a bitch and just to do something hard for the sake of doing something hard. And then I actually fell in love with it. I know I haven't been for a while, but it's one of those things. It pulls you in. It's almost quite dangerous. You can get so caught up in it, and all like for somebody who never thought that he would not want to be huge and muscular and have massive biceps.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I was like, I don't want that anymore. I just want to be a high level martial artist, and that is still my primary goal. But it's crazy how the whole BJJ scene, it pulls you in, and it's not unhealthy. It can be unhealthy as long as your mind is healthy enough as it is.
Yeah.
If you have some issues, it'll either help you or make it worse probably. But I've just did it because it's hard, and because I wanted to develop a skill that was difficult.
Yeah.
There's so many benefits tied up in one. You kill so many different birds with one stone. I can learn to fight. It'll lead me to other areas of martial arts, so I can work on different things and develop a whole comprehensive skill set.
Yeah.
It helps a bit of mobility, it helps with fitness
Completely.
and it holds you accountable like nothing else I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So there's so many different things that builds you, especially for men. I mean, it's the same thing for women, right? But as a man, if you're avoiding all of those different things, fitness, mobility, the ability to defend yourself and others, and just doing hard things. You know, I explained before we came on X, we had a good chat before we should have turned the cameras on earlier. But, you know, I've actually been in the gym after choosing instant pleasure, and I've been out of shape, and I've been really tired, slightly hungover, and almost been in tears.
Yeah.
And been on the edge of just bawling my eyes out because of how hard it is and how much I hated the moment. I'm like, fuck this, because you and Taz were just enjoying yourself and rolling, and he was like, come on, I'll come in. And Taz is like, Al, where have you gone? He's always he's always shouting at me for like leaving, and he was like, Al, you're not going up there, boy. You know, he caught me downstairs doing a bicep workout once, and we were supposed to be doing open mat. And he's like, you know, and it was
Did you pay for that, I bet?
I pay, but that's it. That's what's good about it. And I know you only asked me a simple question, and I've spoken for about 15 minutes, but it's true. It does. It holds you accountable.
Oh, it completely does. I think that's the thing, innit? You know, if you're going to the gym to keep fit, then it's only you holding yourself accountable, innit? You know, like I do a little bit of, you know, strength training, weightlifting, not to, you know, be a bodybuilder or be a strong man or anything like that, but more so because of my age. You know, you do have to focus on strength training a little bit, you know, in order to keep the meat vehicle going, you know. You just keep you have to, you know. It's like, you know, if you're like with the shoulder injury I had, if you want to protect that, you know, you've got to do a bit of it. But you know, when you go to the gym and do that type of stuff, it is just you, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's just you holding yourself accountable. You know, can I be asked or not? You know? And then you go in there and it's like, you know, whatever weight you put on there, it's just up to you, isn't it? But if, say, for example, now, if I've had a tough day in work and I'm like feeling half-assed about coming to jiu-jitsu and you've had a cracking day, you know, you rested, you're hydrated,
he's closed 3 clients, you've made 5k.
He's like that, like, you know what I mean? He's full of fucking endorphins.
He's got a cigar waiting for him at home, woman and a cigar and a whiskey, and he's like, right, let's fucking
slap bump, like, and it's like, if I'm half-assed, he's gonna kick my fucking ass, you know what I mean? I can't turn up and just coast. You know, you're going to make me pay for it. Like, so that's what I agree with you completely. I think that's the wonderful thing about it. We all hold each other accountable. You know what I mean? Because once we get on there and you slap and bump and you roll, you know,
that's the thing.
You've got a fucking match what's given to you.
It's like bodybuilding, right? And nothing against bodybuilding. It's not about bodybuilding. It's about going into the gym sometimes and just moving weight to look good. It doesn't necessarily improve your health.
Tick boxes.
It's not about ticking boxes. It's about doing like training, but not getting any long-term benefit out of it except the way you look. And I don't think that is the reason you should train.
But that's what I was on about when we were talking off camera earlier. You know, the reason I started getting back into the weight training is because I watched that. No, it was a Joe Rogan podcast where he's interviewing. I can't even remember who he's interviewing now. But by the by, what he was talking about is about strength training and weightlifting and stuff. And obviously Joe's in great shape, you know. I know he's having a bit of assistance with the old, you know, TRT, but he still trains his ass
off. But
he's
not a juice. He's not exactly a juice head, is he?
Exactly. But you know, he trains and trains. But he was on about the fact that the reason he trains is not for aesthetics. He trains to keep that flesh on his frame so that he can stay strong and be functional. And
it's functional bodybuilding.
Absolutely.
Sort of CrossFit, making sure your mobility is there.
Yes, exactly.
That's what it's all about, and that's what jiu-jitsu has taught me. It's taught me that all this training that I've ever done, and I go in the gym and I'm injuring my shoulder every other week. And I'm thinking, I've been in the gym 10 years since I was super young. And I'm thinking, what the fuck have I been doing for 10 years?
Well, we've got to show for it as well.
What skills have you got out of it?
I mean, I've got some skills because I can lift heavy weights safely. That's a good skill.
That's fair enough.
Because I did powerlifting, and powerlifting is a lot more practical than bodybuilding. I
agree.
Because a lot of people do bodybuilding for years and they're squatting, and you're like, fucking hell,
the form is terrible. Like,
you can really hurt yourself if you don't do this. So I've got that, but other than that, I'm thinking, I'm out of breath, I don't do as much cardio. And then when I started jiu-jitsu, I realised all this work has not made my health any better. If anything, it's made it worse. You know, I injured my shoulder. First time I dislocated this, I just knocked it against the wall. Do you know how easily that came out?
Jesus.
And the reason that I think that is because I wasn't training properly. I was doing this sort of time, not muscular imbalances, and then it just popped out. And I'm thinking, I've created permanent damage on my body by doing something that is considered good for you, going to the gym. But just go into the gym isn't that. But when you all you have to do with jiu-jitsu, this is why I'm comparing them. Because turning up to the gym just means you're walking around in a gym. Happy days. You can just turn up and just say, oh, there we are, cool, go on. You haven't done anything. You know, you've really got to be about it if you're going to go and do it that way.
Oh, completely.
But going to jiu-jitsu, all you have to do is turn up. The rest will work itself out. That's why I don't like going, because as long as I turn up. You
also get that thing of like that halo effect from jiu-jitsu, where
that's what I love about it.
You know what I mean? Where like I've talked, we talked about it before, right? In the gym, I hate lifting weights. I hate lifting weights. I find it the most boring thing in the world, right? And because that's why I like jiu-jitsu, because it's like dynamic problem solving. It keeps my brain going at the same time as getting a physical workout. But I know that if I don't do strength training, I can't do jiu-jitsu, you know, and especially like to any decent level, I have to keep myself physically fit. You know what I mean? And as you get older, it becomes more and more and more important to balance those two elements. You know what I mean? Keep your conditioning going. Don't drink too much. Watch your diet. Don't have too much sugar, alcohol, carbs. Try and get your 200 grams of protein in a day. All of these things are going through my head all the time now. So, but most guys my age, they're like, oh, fuck that. I'm going to drive around at a golf course and, you know, drink beer all I want and eat all the crap I want and not keep myself in good shape. Because all I want to do is just play golf or whatever, you know? It doesn't matter if I'm in shape or out of shape.
Well, jiu-jitsu, do you know what? And it will matter to them. It will matter to them when it's too late and they're too old to get into it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's a good phrase by a good man, Jocko Willem, come show you for discipline equals freedom.
Bloody right.
And I always thought, and I've explained this, because I always thought, I never really listened to what that actually meant. I thought it meant discipline leads to freedom. Which is also true. The more disciplined you are, the more free you can be in the future.
Of course.
But it's not saying that. It's saying discipline equals freedom, and that seems to contradict each other. Because discipline, people think hard, doing things you don't want to do. So not doing things you want to do, that's not free. No. But it is free because what you're doing is you're doing what you say you're going to do all the time. So you're not in the prison of your own. You're not in the prison of your own lack of willpower in your own mind.
100%.
And that's what I love about going to do stuff like jiu-jitsu.
Keeps you honest, man.
It's because you have to do the hard things. Like for example, the past few weeks, I haven't been going to jiu-jitsu, and that has allowed me. That's opened the door to instant pleasures like smoking, drinking a lot, and I have been doing that. I've been eating crap, and I know when I do come back, I'm gonna really feel what I've been doing the past few weeks, and I have
100%.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, look, I
can make sure of that.
Look, no, you're not joking. You're not fucking joking.
Ramping right up on it.
No, I need that, but I'm gonna feel it straight away. Even just being there, doing a little warm up, doing the drills, I'm gonna be sweating like I did the first couple of times.
Yeah, you're back to square one then. See, that's the thing.
Pretty much, especially at my level, I am gonna take a couple steps back.
But it's all different. Like doing strength training. You know, if you decide to just bin it and not have that self-discipline to go, then the power or the weight that you've been shifting is gonna drop. You know what I mean? All the gains that you've had are going to deplete. You know what I mean? You know, your diet is going to be dog shit. And,
it all comes back to compounding positives or compounding negatives.
Yeah.
When I'm doing BJJ and I'm doing it well, the positive effects on that compound.
Yes.
If I'm doing BJJ well, it's because I'm eating well.
Exactly.
If I'm eating well, then I'm performing well in work. And it all compounds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well,
However, compounding negatives.
Yeah.
Just in your case,
it could not be more obvious.
It's like one after the other. Then
I've seen your life, Matt. When you're doing BJJ consistently, you have no choice but to implement positives in other areas of your life.
100%.
When you're laying in and not eating like you should be, and maybe not doing the steps and not doing the cardio you should be, I know the BJJ game, the performance isn't as good, and everything else the business isn't as good.
Yeah, it's true.
There is never. I've always said this. The gym is a cornerstone, and it's an early marker of when the rest of your life is going to start falling off track.
I agree.
If I'm not turning up to jiu-jitsu, and my training in the past since I've been last has never been worse.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm not holding myself accountable to that. If that's not going well, I know for a fact everything else is going off the rails, and it is.
Yeah.
And when I come back and I start doing that consistently and I'm doing my weight training, I have to eat well. I have to make sure I'm hydrated.
Exactly.
And once I'm doing all that, I probably find, and now we were saying off air that I'm struggling with a lot of the workload with the business. I'm almost certain that all of a sudden that'll go away.
Yeah.
Even though I'm working less, I'll probably be so much more
productive in the
because
time
of
the
sharpness, and it's also the efficiency and the productivity.
Yeah.
It is an early marker. So for anyone at home that's starting to let their training slip, the rest of your life is about to fall off.
Yeah.
So just remember that, and if you're happy to suffer the consequences, fine, you do what you want.
Yeah.
But really, if you can't hold yourself accountable to the gym, the rest of your life will never work its way.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, and it comes back then to having a good team around you. People will hold you accountable.
Yeah.
I've noticed that.
Fucking hell. I'm not looking forward to going back. It's
going to you see him within 5 minutes to see him today, innit? Where the fuck have you been, you little bitch?
Yeah, literally.
I'll walk in, everyone will have their belts around their heads, and I'll just be fuck?
Ready for war.
Yeah.
No, not even hello, Alex. Like, where the fuck have you been?
Yeah. Get down now
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the mat.
yeah.
But it's good to have a team around you.
Yeah,
And I think
100%.
and BJJ fighting as a whole is an individualistic sport. You get the result you're the only one in the cage or on the mat.
Yeah.
However, it's created by the team spirit.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel down at Fight Project Gym, hence why I love it and I speak so highly of it, and we do, a lot of promotion for it because
which we honestly thank you both for. Yeah,
it's all
I
good.
appreciate that.
But that is why I love it. And there's no team like the team that I have down there, and there's no group of people who are more positive for me and to me.
Yeah,
I need a violin thing on
Than
it.
yourself.
Exactly.
Literally than yourself, Matthew, Chris, Taz, everyone.
Yeah.
And I think that is a key aspect of
No, I agree.
why I love it.
Yeah. Everybody wants to see everybody get on.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Everybody wants to see everybody succeed. Like, that's what I love about the environment that we created. It's like, we all want everybody to get to their black belt. We want everybody, if they're competing, if that's the avenue you want to go, we want to see you succeed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people aren't taking all the time. You know what I mean? It's not all about. It's not a team of individuals. It is actually like, a good team who actually give a shit about each other. Outside and inside of the gym. You know what I mean? Like, if any of you ever needed anything, if you needed help, support, advice, whatever, we can all pick up the phone to each other, like, and keep everybody, supported in any facet of their life. It's not like like a big like money earner for us and stuff. We don't run gym as a business like that. Matthew's got his day job and his businesses. I've got my day job. So I coach like almost for free. You know what I mean? I give as much as I can back to the guys because I'm like, right, okay, I'll do all the studying and workout techniques and all that kind of stuff. Yes, I don't compete and stuff like that. Just not my bag. But helping people, that's what I get a kick off. You know what I mean? If I can like help somebody like succeed in a comp or get to that next belt grade or something, my God, that's the fulfillment for me. You know what I mean? I take so much away from that, and I think that resonates then with the whole team.
It does, and it's probably a good opportunity for me to say, as somebody who's not long come into that, I was very shocked. I've never in my life seen a community like it, and it's almost like I cannot tell you the amount of respect that I had when I came in, because I saw that immediately and I thought, right, I'm not going to come in here with an ego. I've got to come in here and just kind of observe and see the way people do things. I can see how much of a community it is, and it's not just give me cash and then fuck off.
Exactly. It's not transactional.
And I thought, right, if they're clearly putting a lot into this, and I noticed, like, you'd sometimes, when there'd be like live sparring, you'd sometimes give me like 15-20 minutes of your time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm thinking, especially when it was quieter, it's picked up a lot now, I know. But when it was a little bit quieter over a couple of weeks, you would give me a lot of time, and I'm thinking, fuck, I've really got to, and this is why I feel so guilty.
My wife goes absolutely, sorry babes, all right, but I'm going to be honest. My wife goes nuts or stuff like that, because I tell her, like, open mat, right, 10 till 11. And it's like 12 o'clock and I'm walking back in the house.
There's so many memes online about that.
Yeah.
There's so many memes online about that when she says, come home after, and you're like sitting there on the mat for like 2 hours.
And I'm sat there, but that's what I enjoy. It's like, we do our 10 rounds, and then it's like, if you've got questions or something, I'm not the type of guy who's going to go, book a private,
Here's my stripe.
But there's a lot of people out there that do that. Like, it's like, if you want the inside scoop or the secret information or whatever, it's like, book a private with me and I'll sort it. Like, they won't engage with some of their guys and just give like that. They'll hold that back to make money. And look, I'm not saying that you shouldn't make money out of your expertise, for a second, right? But it's just the in-fight project. That's the way we operate. You know what I mean? It's like, if you got questions and I'm there for an hour after open mat because I'm helping you, because you've got a comp coming up and there's a part of your game that you want to work on, or you need help with. Absolutely, like, ask the question and I'll stick around for an hour. Math is the same. He'll stick around. Chris Ainan, he's the same. They'll help you. Like, they will all help you. Anybody down there will just stay on, help you work at it, do extra sessions with you or whatever. And if we can get you to the point where you're happy in the support you've had and you had some success out of it, then for us, you've flown our flag, with the FPG logo on your chest, and represented the gym in that way. We had a hand in that success. That's the reward for us. You know what I mean? And I think that's what makes it quite a unique gym in that respect. You know what I mean?
It's so homely. I don't know what it is. It's just maybe it's a bit nostalgic for me because I've been there for
years, have I?
Yeah, 5 years, possibly.
One of the OGs.
Yeah, literally.
One of the OGs took a short break. Didn't he?
Still though, But around, man.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's just every time I go down there, I don't feel like pressure. And I know that a lot of people, like especially people who listen to this, because I can guarantee that most listeners don't do BJJ.
Yeah.
You walk into a Fight Project gym, and you can testify to this. It doesn't feel like, oh shit, I'm gonna be judged here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know what? I am notoriously quite pessimistic, and I always think of my default is always the negative thoughts.
Yeah.
Just because that's the way I've always been, and when I walk in there, it's like I don't even think negative thoughts.
Yeah.
Like it just creates such a as cringy as it sounds, it is like a safe space, even though you could get your arm broken. But
no, we're all in there taking a piss out of each other and having a laugh.
Yeah,
and enjoying,
yeah.
You know,
So when I go back,
look at this
gonna take a
stuff
piss
we
out of
call
me.
each other sometimes. I'm like, shit, I'm head. You know what I mean? It's like, but we can get away with it because the rapport's there. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, everybody just gets on and has a good time, and I think that's why we're attracting so many new members. Like,
Yeah,
you know, people are coming
in
in.
the photos. It's full in there, jam packed.
We are packed now. It's like
You need to
adults classes are packed to the.
You need to do an extra class or something then.
We're looking at that now to see if we can do like early morning ones and things like that. You know, it's in the pipeline. Yeah. So there won't be any excuses then.
Early morning. If you did early morning,
4:30 a.m.
If you did early,
4:30, not asking early.
if you did early morning
That's
jiu-jitsu, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, it's coming. Like Math has put the feelers out there, and it's all about the response. If we get, all we need is 6 people. You know what I mean? If 6 people rock up regularly, that's fine. We'll keep it running. You know what I mean?
2,
yeah. So yeah, you got 2 there. You know.
I need to come to the first one first.
Yeah, absolutely. But it'd be good for me as well. I'll probably dip in and do a few so I can get a session before work and all that. But like 6:30 till 7:30, that type of thing. Yeah, that type of thing.
That's spot on.
Yeah, just
Because
quick in, a roll.
That would help people. I think a lot of people come down.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of the boys that they start work early.
Yeah.
Or a lot of them work nights. Some after nights just before work.
Yeah.
That would help a lot.
It's been off the like the menu, so to speak, like on the timetable for a while because Math and I have been the principal coaches down there.
Of course.
And both of us got full-time jobs. As I said, this isn't our job. It's our hobby, pastime, and the thing we do on the side. Like so it's been difficult to kind of lever it in, but now we've got like a good layer of coaches. We got like a good layer of purple belts now as well. You know what I mean? Everybody can kind of muck in and open up and take a session for us and stuff. So it doesn't have to be. It's not all on myself. Yeah, keep at it. But it's not all on Math Einan and me all the time, man. It's like Taz is mucking in now. We started doing some Tasani Soinak. He's the one who did the MMA fight not so long ago. Was it Cage Warriors Academy? Knockout in under like 30 seconds. Phenomenal.
I know I've been shit with the editing of this, but there's some love. I'm gonna make a lovely footage of this.
Oh, you love that.
Yeah.
The old eagle pause.
I made a short video for him, and he messaged me. He was like, "I can't wait to see this fucking video."
I'm telling you,
footage is really good of him warming up, of him like prepping.
Yeah, he honestly.
We'll have to do that. We'll have to when someone's got a big fight. We'll have to like film him.
Yeah, that'd be
compilation.
fantastic.
Like
I know Mason is all over that. He wants footage of everything.
Yeah,
he wants training footage. I've still got some stuff of him and JT.
It's good for the guys as well, see, because they can see, from I suppose that bird's eye view of like what they're rolling like as well, and how like. Because it's hard when you're in a roll. When you're in a roll, you're feeling it out, and you're just going through the whatever your opponent presents to you, like, and going through your kind of strategies and stuff. But when you see it from that angle, you can see, oh shit, right, okay, maybe that grip there was the wrong thing to do, or that underhook wasn't as deep as it could have been, or you know what I mean, or the timing of that technique. I need to work on that. So watching that footage back is valuable. So yeah, guys, if you could do that, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, it's actually
especially for the guys who compete.
It's quite humbling watching the footage back of me, because I remember I was doing a technique before. I was just drilling it, so I was drilling it on Matthew.
Yeah.
And he let me drill it on him.
Yeah.
And then I watched the footage back, and he looked like he was in slow mo. He was so unelegant. I thought, oh, that's fucking.
You're like,
I was doing an arm bar, right?
Berimbolos and all sorts in his head. Like.
Yeah. No, I thought I was top dog doing this. I was like, oh, it was fucking class. I watched the footage back.
Yeah.
And I was going to do an arm bar, and I basically grabbed the arm and just put my leg. It was so unnatural. I was like, fucking hell. I thought that was really cool. And then I watched it back, and it wasn't. But it is humbling. But it does show me, okay, that's not what that's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Because I can't see what I'm doing from in my own head.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why it's good. I used to do it like years ago. I used to put what they call them, the gimbals, is it? Yeah. I used to put a gimbal with that had feet on it. Yeah, and I used to just leave my camera like run for the whole of the open mat. You know, I need to start doing it again actually.
I remember this.
Yeah, and I just used to like watch everybody roll and and like send snippets to
can do
people
that.
and stuff like that.
We
Like,
can bring it down and just put a tripod up in the back and just leave it running.
Just leave it run, yeah. And then give everybody like access to it like on a a Dropbox or something like that.
I tell you what, we'll do that
Yeah.
because that's easy enough. The only thing that's kind of stopped us a lot of the time is that we both want to train.
Yeah.
And if we both want to train, it's hard for us to get a
take the
camera
hit
and
on
film
camera,
it.
yeah. But just do it like that. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I put it on
I remember this.
the pads box at the back. I just used to put it on there
Yeah.
and then just let it run and then
Yeah,
I'd
we
watch
can
myself
chuck it-
rolling and
chuck it in the back or
especially when it
something.
was like there was a point where I was working a lot on defense for a while. You know what I mean? So I got the Preet Mickelson bug.
I remember
Shout
this.
out to Preet Mickelson and Chris Paynes, legends. So yeah, really got the bug for like defensive BJJ, especially with my injuries and getting older as well. It kind of helped me stay in the game a bit, like you know what I mean. Helped keep me safer from all the young studs, like
Longevity was.
yeah, absolutely, like and give them
play
more
that.
problems to unravel, like
Yeah, I
and
know.
then eventually trying to like turn that defensive stuff into offense. You know what I mean? But yeah, when I was working on that stuff, yeah, it was invaluable. Like watching myself back, and just kind of dissecting where I was messing it up and where I was like, leaving people in that space between my armpit and my hip at the wrong times or moving in the wrong direction or not getting my running man position correct. You know what I mean? And then when you watch it back then, not only refine what you're doing, but you also see opportunities then to reverse it into offense as well. And then, you're starting to build your game better just by watching it all back all the time. It's invaluable, honestly. It really is good if you
And
work on
if
something.
you look at the bigger picture there, it's not just about filming techniques and doing that. It's about
Self-analysis.
Exactly. Yeah,
and
self-awareness.
And that's what
Yes.
I find is so attractive is because there's so much like personal development you can
completely.
you can grow so much.
The
as a-
lessons
as a
you can learn
person.
on that mat is
and
unreal.
and
I
watching
agree.
it's
I
not just
agree.
about watching footage back, it's about the analysis of it. You
100%.
build yourself so much, and that's one of the reasons why I liked it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
because my ego had to be left at the door, and it's one of the few times, and I'm a supporter of men having big egos because you can do great things.
Yeah.
However,
It's valid.
it can sometimes lead to slightly narcissistic views
Yeah.
of the
Of
world and the way that I am.
realities.
Because me and Martha we're the best people ever. But at the same time, no, but I think I am the greatest.
Yeah.
Because you've got to really
Well,
achieve things.
Muhammad Ali, he said it, believed it, and he was.
Do you know what I mean?
So,
It's like we tell people we're gonna live in Dubai, and people are like, well, how? I'm like, we just are.
Yeah, you're
we're
gonna make
gonna
massive
do it.
to me.
Yeah, that's what they call it, manifesting your destiny. Innit?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
I talk with a lot, like sometimes with my guys in work, where if they think that like an outcome's going to happen, then it will happen because inadvertently you will take the actions to lead you to that.
Spoke to Josh about this.
Innit? It does though, innit? It's so true,
Facts, yeah.
But if you kind of like think, right, well, that's where I'm going to be and that's the goal and I am going to do it. So all of a sudden, it doesn't matter how long it takes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But eventually you start to kind of subconsciously put all the behaviours in place, unknowingly sometimes as well, to lead you to that. And then you're like, oh, I did it. Great, happy days. I achieved what I want to achieve. But it's only because you thought it, you manifested it, I'm a big believer in that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you want something to happen, just keep thinking, yeah, it will happen and I am going to do it.
You've got to
Yeah,
become
be
that
realistic
person
with yourself.
first,
Yeah.
Be realistic. I'm a big realist. I definitely. I'm not much of a fantasist. I definitely believe that things should be tangible,
Yeah.
like a smart objective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It should be tangible and within reach, like something I know that given my my physical attributes or whatever, or my mental
So
capacity.
you wouldn't tell someone they could be an ADCC champion if you know they can't.
If you know they can't, they can't. Not everybody's. There's a reason. Like there's levels in anything. You know what I mean?
Do you know what? Quick side note, right?
Yeah.
When I went to the JT Torres seminar, right? Also a great guy.
Oh, phenomenal.
Great.
I wish I was there. I didn't
Phenomenal.
realise how charismatic
Oh,
he is.
honestly,
Great guy.
what a guy. Yeah.
But that was a big eye opener to me.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
levels to it.
100%. But that's true in everything. It's like, does it make one black belt not worth his black belt because this black belt is is as good as he is?
No.
Absolutely not. But, when he's got that level of skill where he can accomplish great things at an ADCC level, it doesn't mean like a club black belt isn't, good to be your coach and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It just means that, you've had different kind of directions in your life and he's got that capability to reach that level. Fine. He's manifested that destiny and he's gone after it and he's done it, But, could I do that? No, absolutely not. I'm completely comfortable in the fact I can never be an ADC.
You're not gonna go for ADC.
No, hell no. I know. I'm a guy who's like pushing like half a century. Like I'm not gonna get there. You know what I mean? But who knows? You know, if my life had been different and I'd started like when I was like Mason's age and stuff like that, you know, who knows?
He'll be able to.
Oh
maybe.
Christ, there's nothing stopping that kid. Yeah? If he just keeps working the way he is. You know, he's an animal. He's what, 17, right? Nearly 18. He's an absolute monster.
Nearly a purple belt.
Nearly a purple belt, right?
That's really,
and a
impressive.
warranted one as well. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a killer, right? But like, if he just keeps going as he is and like, you know, rolling with the right people and training in the way that he is, what's to stop him? You know what I mean? If he puts that, he puts that as that's the goal. I want to be an ADCC champion. Then why not? You know what I mean?
Can I ask a question relating to that?
Of course you can. Yeah.
So somebody like Mason.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think it actually takes? What do you think separates somebody like Mason? Could it be the way his life has been set up? Could it be he's in all in on that and he doesn't really interested in anything else? What do you think? What do you think? I don't know the answer to this. I'm just curious. What do you think happens to make somebody excel so far above other people in something like that?
Oh, that's a bloody good question.
It is a deeper question. I'm trying to think now. With somebody like me,
what can you do?
I don't think I've got it in me to do something like that. I don't think I've got that sort of for one thing. Like, what is it about somebody that makes them do that?
I don't know. I think it's the mindset personally. Yeah, I think it's a lot to do with how you look at things. You know, as I've gotten older, you know, the way I think about things and the way I approach life in general now is nothing like what I was in my 20s. You know what I mean? I was very careless in my 20s, you know, did stupid shit like most people did, made poor decisions, but learned off them, you know what I mean? And now, you know, reflecting back on myself, I don't even recognise myself when I was in my 20s. I was a fucking arsehole, you know what I mean? Even by my own standards now, I look at myself, I'm like,
a couple of years,
why did I waste so much? And the problem is, and this is advice for anybody, like, you know, time goes quick and it's a commodity. Once spent, you're never having back. It's gone. And same with energy, time and energy, right? Once it's spent, it's gone, right? And like, you shouldn't like waste your time. You know what I mean? Like in terms of BJJ training, if you can get on the fucking mat, train. You know what I mean? And I think like maybe this is what the difference is. If you've got that mindset to commit to training and not wasting your time and making the most of your time and most of your energy investment, I think, you can achieve great things, you know? I think for a lot of us, we fucking squander it. And I look back at my life now, and I sound like an ancient man, I'm not that old, but I'm like I say, you know,
no, you do talk like you're coming to the end of life.
But I'm nipping on the heels of half a century, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, you know, I'm not a fucking spring chicken by any stretch, right?
But you've been in the army, you've done loads of different stuff.
Absolutely, right? But you know, I do look at it, and if I wanted to do something as specific as becoming an ADCC champion, right? Yeah, which is fucking, that's the Olympics in our sport, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
You know, Jesus Christ, I would have had to have my finger firmly pulled out of my backside back then, not now. You know what I mean? And I think that's the good thing about, like, you know, Mason's got a great support structure with his mum Aisha. She's a cracking woman, right?
That's
keeps
part
him.
Of it then,
She is brilliant in making sure he goes training when he doesn't feel like it. And she knows his potential.
She does it herself.
And she does it herself, even with all the adversities she faces, right? You know, she's earned a purple belt. You know, she's in her 40s, right? And I swear down, you know, she's
very good, actually.
Yeah, she's good, like. But you know, the commitment she's got to put Mason into the right frame of mind and give him the support structure that he needs to be successful. He's got it, and he's got, you know, a slot as well who are all trying to help him. It's the same, you know, Kai is another one who's got that mega potential. Taz, you know, fucking hell, you know, if he sorts his fucking diet out, Taz, if you're listening to this, sort your diet out.
That man, he lives off.
I know.
Sticky rice.
Yeah.
Protein, like, what's he doing?
No protein in a bit.
We had a session on a Friday once, right? We took Taz or Asda. We were telling him, Taz, eat this.
Yeah.
More protein.
Yeah, we were literally giving him a masterclass in protein.
He's like going for the pasties and the carbs.
And he was eating a pack of donuts. I'm like, I'm surprised he manages to get to such a high level. Living on donuts.
But imagine the level he could get to if he.
But that's what I mean. It's like, you know, the time ticks by, you know. And do you know all those days where like you feel like, oh, today I don't feel like going. Yeah. They add up. Yeah. They add up.
I think as we're 22, you think, oh, but there's time. Like, I'm thinking, I don't want to be an ADCC champion. So
yeah.
the pressure for that has now gone.
Yeah.
Because I'd have to be every day because somebody's working every day.
100%, yeah.
But I just want to do this for discipline. So I'm thinking, oh, right, there's time. I can start Monday.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I always think like that because it's only a couple of days away. But a couple of days every
and the months
week.
roll over. That's
And all of a sudden you
adding up.
spent, you know.
There was a quote I saw like a while back, right? That says you've always got a choice, right? You can have 6 months of progress or 6 months of excuses, right?
Facts.
So fucking true.
I haven't heard that one before.
And that's what I'm saying about the time thing, right? It's like, you know, you can look back over that 6 months and think to yourself, right, even if I made, you know, that much progress, right, it's still progress because I did the right things. I didn't squander the time, you know. I was on the mat when I could be, you know, even if I was feeling like shit and it was an half-ass session. There's days where I come on the mat where I'm like, I can't be fucked. Yeah. I've had a tough day in work and I'm like, I really don't want to be there. But I'm like, all I tell myself is get your toes on the mat. Yeah? Get your bare feet on the mat, right? And then let's see what happens. And that's all I commit to. You know what I mean? So I know that I'm not going to fucking waste that time. I'm like, I force myself to get my toes on the mat. Yeah? My bare feet on the mat. And let's get on with it. And what happens, happens. Sometimes, I walk away from a fucking great session. Sometimes I get squashed the fuck. You know what I mean? And all the big lads will fucking ruin me. And I'm like, there we are, fucking hell. Yeah, but I'm here, you know? And I might have made a little bit of progress that time as opposed to like another session where I've worked something out and it's brilliant. I've got a new submission I fucking managed to tweak or, you know, a new escape or whatever the case may be, right? But it's not always going to be like that. But as long as you're not wasting those times, you know what I mean? And squandering it, like, when you're young... if you want to do something like become an ADCC champion or become a top name on Polaris, put the fucking work in. Yeah. Put the time in, yeah? Don't waste the time. Don't get to 30 and go, oh, fucking hell, I could have been this or I could have been that. Don't become one of those could have been.
That scares the shit out of me.
Because then, but that's what I'm saying, you can't fucking rewind that clock. It's gone. So if you get in on something like this at an early age, fucking, you are lucky. You know, use that. Use that time. Don't waste it on women and beer and drugs and all the fucking all the horrible things in life.
All
like
the stuff
that,
that gets you.
Not the women are horrible. Sorry. What a misogynist.
That's going to be the title of this video. Advocate support
Jamie
to destroy
Phillips, misogynist, yeah? No, what I mean is, like, you know, getting distracted, sorry, so, you know, very badly phrased, I do apologise. Right? So, yeah, it's like those distractions come into your life, and then all of a sudden they consume the time, you know what I mean? And then, and your focus and your energy, and then all of a sudden then, you know, once you start spreading yourself thin like that, and you're not on the mat, and then one day turns into a week, and then a week turns into two, and then all of a sudden you ain't fucking training, right? Yeah, not looking at anybody. But when that happens, you honestly, you'd be filled with nothing but fucking regret because you get back on the mat and it's like, shit. Yeah, I've lost that month now. I've lost that month of progress. Yeah. You know, why is that person getting promoted before I am? Because they were here. They didn't waste their fucking time. Yeah. You know what I mean? They stayed on the mat. Like, and whether or not life got in the way, they still pushed through.
It is a difficult thing,
and did it, you know? And that way then, they're moving at a really, really fast rate, like, you know, and they're progressing well and their skill is getting better. But I think that's an important thing that I wish, you know, when we can all wish that, like, if I had my time again, I would have put a lot more time and energy into this, like, at the right time. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have taken the break that I did and all that kind of stuff. But what I can do is learn from that. Like I say, any mistake I make, I learn from it. And then what I do, I pass that on. So it's like, you know, when I talk to you guys or even the younger guys, that's like Fernando, you know, a youngster who's super enthusiastic, lovely boy, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Have I met this Fernando?
I don't know. He's only 15. I think.
Has he got a brother that looks exactly like
yes,
him?
Yeah.
Fernando came up to me in the gym on Thursday and shook my hand, said he followed me on Instagram. I was like, oh, what a nice guy.
Yeah.
I've never spoken to him. I remember he came a couple of times and it was him and his brother.
Yes, that's right.
And they would sit on the sidelines, very tentative.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do anything with them because I couldn't help them because I didn't know much either. So somebody like Matthew needed to help them because I can't teach them anything. I can't help them do a technique. So we're both going to be fumbling about, really,
but he was chatting with me today before open mat, like, and he was saying, you know, he turned up for open mat. I was like, oh, good on you, like, you know what I mean? It's going to be grown men, you know, fair play. I think he's 15, I think.
Fair play.
But he was there, you know, willing to roll with the guys and stuff like that. You know, we were very cautious about, you know, who we roll with and stuff. You know, he did a bit with me where what I was doing is giving him position. You know,
him in heel hooks.
No, well, he was asking me about heel hooks. I told him, forget heel hooks for now, right? Yeah. You know, there's other things to work on before we get there. We'll get there. Yeah. But putting him into positions where, you know, he was taking my back, you know, with double hooks and seatbelt, and I was just doing nothing but escape. And I told him, every time I escape, you can start from, you know, whatever position you want. Yeah, whatever dominant position you want. Yeah, and then we'll keep working on that. And you've got to work on controlling me. So don't worry about subs. Just try and control me. Yeah, and stop me escaping. You know, and you know, I was like winding him up, man. Right? I was going 10, 9, 8, you know, and getting out and stuff. Like, and it was good for him because it was like turning it into a bit of gamification as well, a bit of fun. But back to the point I was making with the time thing, you know, he was asking me about, like, you know, how do I get better quicker and all that. I just said to him, don't waste your time, yeah? Use your time wisely. I said, you've got in on this now, where at a really good age, you know, you're 15 years old, you've got a good crowd around you, you've got a couple of black belts, you've got a couple of brown belts, you've got purple belts, blue belts, so it can all help you, you know? But just keep coming, and when you don't feel like coming, get your toe, I told him my thing, get your bare feet on the mat, your toes on the mat. That's all I focus on. And then as long as you keep doing that, you will really, really excel.
I know.
Yeah?
And do you know what's...
That's
I
all
think
it is.
I'm at the age now.
Comes down to cycles.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're at the age now where, even though we're still super young, you know, I've been in the gym 10 years, right?
Yeah.
I have been on and off for that time. And you know, I could have been really, really good. Like, I could have done bodybuilding. I could have actually really excelled at something had I stuck to it. You know, I'm 22. 10 years at something, you could be almost expert
Absolutely,
level.
yeah,
Like, I could have probably been...
black belt.
I could have been a BJJ black
Could have
belt.
been,
There's some guy up in... He trains up with the drag team.
Tom Barry.
Is it Tom something?
Tom Barry. Yeah.
And
Back
he's
when I
really
was,
young. He's like 20, 25 or something.
Yeah. But look at him.
And he
he's
said
a
he
mat
said he had
rat.
a
On the mat
black
all
belt
the
in a
time.
few years.
Yeah,
because
look at if you look at the comparative time that he's done compared to, like, say, a hobbyist, right? And this is what I want about time. Yeah, if you not just turn up and go through the motions, but if you use that time wisely and make a maximum effort within that time all the time, what's to say you can't do something like that? That's an incredible achievement, I think. Yeah,
it is.
Fair play to the guy, like, and he's a lovely guy. We've had him down in the gym twice now. Such a good coach as well for his years. He's got a really good way about him as well. Good communication skills. Knows how to break down technique well. Absolutely cracking guy. You know, mature beyond his years. But look at the mindset that guy's had, isn't it? You know, he's thrown himself into jiu-jitsu, and in 5 years he's probably done 15 years worth of work.
that's
You see what I'm saying?
I love the
Whereas,
thought
like,
of
if you
that.
were kind of like wasting your time, and after 5 years you've done 5 years
Like,
of work,
I've done
or
10
even
years
less.
in the gym, and I've achieved not much really,
Mid
because
physique.
I've never really compounded it. It's like with jiu-jitsu, I was getting a lot out of it when I was there, because I was like, God, I have an opportunity here. There's a great team here, and I know I can learn a lot if I apply myself.
100%.
And I do think I did apply myself for the time that I was there.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted as much time with you as I could, as much time with Taz as I could, because you were two people who had very different styles of teaching. You know, I liked yours because you broke everything down and built the core.
Yeah.
And Taz would just simplify things for me. Just try this and then focus on that. Stop thinking.
That's it.
And between the three of you, actually, because Matthew would help me as well.
Yeah,
He was like Taz's little assistant. I don't think he'd like to.
Okay.
I don't think he'd.
Yeah.
But I got a lot out of it, and it was I liked it. I was like, right, I've got a chance here. There's only an hour. There's only maybe 20 minutes a week or even less that I can have one-to-one with one of you guys.
Yeah.
You know, whether there's an opportunity for me to roll with you and actually ask questions. I might not get that opportunity multiple days a week, you know. So when I'm there, I'm like, right, okay, what can I do here? And I do feel like I'm doing that, but then it's turning up all the time and making sure when there's a chance to be on the mat instead of, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. Maybe I'll just have a day off, and you're not taking advantage of the opportunity to not waste time.
Your biggest downfall is not effort. Effort's fantastic. It's consistency.
Yeah. I've always said, like, when when I'm actually working at something, I don't think there's many people that can outwork me. I mean, I'm not talking about martial arts because it's not my scene, but generally in life, it's hard to outwork me when I'm on it. Like,
You sprint, right? You sprint. If we're looking at a mat, like we said, like in a marathon, you will sprint
I'll sprint off the start line.
You'll have the quickest 5 miles in history.
Yeah.
But then you'll have the slowest. You'll have the slowest 19.
And then everybody will catch up in that 19.
Everyone,
it's the tortoise and the hare thing, isn't it?
Exactly that.
Yeah.
But I honestly, like, I can be quite arrogant, but I don't care. No one will. No one will. No one will.
But I don't give a shit.
Which is arrogant.
Yeah.
No one will outwork me when I'm working.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm doing editing and stuff, like, you won't get as much done as me because I'm very efficient.
Yeah, but don't confuse your arrogance. It could be confidence, mate.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's starting to piss me off because I don't like the way that I'm like that, because I know I won't do it sustainably. When I've had like 2 weeks of flat out, like when we go like 6 days a week in FPG with Taz plus the normal sessions, you know, 2 weeks in a row, I'm thinking, fuck. my body's hurting, I have a feeling I'm going to have 2 weeks off here and just going to massive blow up.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
always go, it's like, I mean, we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
Diets, right?
Yeah, yeah,
A high
exactly.
sugar diet
Yeah.
is insulin and sugar spike up
Yeah,
and down all
like a
day.
yo-yo.
But what I'd rather was do what Matthew does and kind of be consistently good as opposed to occasionally great.
Yeah. That's a really good way of putting it. I like that. You heard it here first. I like
Are
that.
you shitting on me or?
No, because in the long run that's healthier than
Yeah.
up and down all the time.
Yeah.
Because this is it you
Like
can't
you said,
get,
it's
you
like
know,
diets, isn't it? Diets in general don't work, do they? You know what I mean? It's like, you know, when you restrict yourself like completely, like, and take all the enjoyment.
Yeah.
Like life, no, like I say, you're not fucking year long on a spinning rock, right? You know, you gotta enjoy pleasures, right? You know what I mean? You have the burger, you know what I mean? Have something sweet, like, you know, enjoy the dessert.
don't have 16 pints 3 days a week.
Exactly, you know, have a couple of beers, yeah, have a
Yeah.
couple of whiskies, enjoy your cigar, like,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
don't fucking do fucking 10 on your head and
20
15
packs
pints
Sterlings
and,
a
you know,
day.
like, you know, 10 litres of ice cream. That's where the problem comes, isn't it? But
Yeah.
that's what happens when you deny yourself, innit?
Well-
you deny yourself for so long and it's like, fuck, you explode, right?
See, I don't
In
do
like
half
all,
a job,
like,
see.
you
If
know
I'm
what I
gonna drink, I'm gonna drink, right? you wanna work me in the
wait till
pub
you get
like
older,
that.
boy. The hangovers.
No,
will
I
have
know.
ruined you,
I'm starting to
honestly.
think now. I'm gonna be in a bad shape if I don't actually sort of.
Yeah.
build
Oh,
some
the
foundations
hangovers
there.
catch up with you. In your 20s, enjoy it.
I got hangovers now. I
Yeah.
can't imagine what it'd be like in my
Oh
40s.
my god, it's like just put me in a fucking box. That's why I don't get drunk anymore. I really don't. I enjoy a beer, right? So like my Friday and Saturday nights,
Nice
like, you
old
know,
fashioned.
Like a whiskey, Jim.
I love a whiskey.
You're a
Yeah.
bourbon
You said
guy.
you used to have them after training every night.
Yeah, I used to, because you know the adrenaline that from training.
Yeah.
I used to like it used to just like settle
Powerlifters
me a
sometimes
little.
used to drink whiskey before training
Yeah,
because it
yeah.
calmed the nerves.
But it's a bad habit like to get into like every
yeah,
night, you know,
because you might end up doing an
as you get
extra
older,
bit.
it actually disrupts your sleep a lot. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And like, if I'm honest, right, one of the things I value so much, like these days, is a good night's sleep. If I can get 7 or 8 hours, a really good sleep, man.
Yeah.
I feel so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it gets, and that, like, it sounds so pathetic, yeah.
No,
but that's what it's
I
like.
that.
It's like nowadays, it's like if I have that whiskey, it messes with my sleep. Even at one now, you know, and it's like I know
don't
I'm
need
gonna
much
I'm gonna
alcohol,
wake up tired. You know what I mean? Whereas if I just kind of deal with my adrenaline and let it, like, you know, different techniques, like distraction techniques like reading or, you know, listening to a podcast, Club Iron, right? Yeah. You know, things like that. And it just zones me out and, you know, wait for my adrenaline to surpass and do it the right way. Take some magnesium before I go to bed.
Yeah,
things like that.
Ashwagandha,
Absolutely.
Tongarali,
Yeah.
all
All
that
that,
stuff.
see, take all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, then you're sleeping like a baby, and it's great. You know, you have a proper shut eye. You can't put the value on that now. It's like, but all those little bad coping mechanisms, they have an adverse effect on you, you know. And then it affects your mental capacity,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
physical
Like what I said about the
capacity,
the cycles.
your motivation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I was actually watching a video like a couple hours ago, and somebody was saying if you're gonna cut like addictions out, and I know that's a bit of a strong word for like just having a whiskey in the night.
Yeah,
You're not addicted.
yeah.
But those things that you do, just cutting them off
Yeah.
isn't gonna work. You
Yeah,
have to
the
replace
wean,
them.
yeah.
But it's about replacing as well. Like, and
Absolutely.
that's what, like for example, I want to stop drinking completely because the benefits of me being sober.
Yeah.
I am productive and I just feel great. My
Yeah,
mental
yeah.
health is so good.
100%.
Internal temp too high. I don't worry about it. We'll just carry on that.
Yeah, carry on that one.
What was I saying now?
You were saying that you're more productive when without alcohol and stuff.
Oh, yeah, and he was saying instead of just cutting things off, because that's what I do. I go into a highly
Yeah.
restrictive mode when
Yeah.
I'm not ready for it.
You're like,
I got
you're
you.
like a fat bitch trying to lose weight. You are like no sugar and trying like.
Yeah. I just having like a bit of kale and ice.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he said you've got to replace things, right? So
Yeah.
this is the way that I'm thinking now, and this is a bit of advice as well, because the only thing that's ever worked for me when I try to cut something off is replace it with a positive, healthy cycle.
That's it, yeah.
So doing jiu-jitsu was doing that, because
Exactly.
not only was I able to get off the bad stuff, I replaced it with jiu-jitsu, which was also difficult.
Yeah.
You know, and it created suffering.
Yeah.
But instead of feeling the instant pleasure, the 2x of dopamine, which lasts 5 minutes, of having a fag or a drink, instead what I was having was long-term fulfillment, which is so much more powerful than,
completely.
than an instant gratification of a bourbon after that.
100%.
The thing is though, I can guarantee you, if you started progressing, getting a stripe, getting stripes, and getting a belt, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
I think a stripe would motivate me to come back.
You earn them.
Yeah, no, you know, there's no free lunch in this
You don't
game.
get it for turning up. You got to earn them.
No, but if you start,
I was joking, but
I know.
if you start to see the results in that, you'd want to stick with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is the thing with me sometimes. I'm like, oh, well, it hasn't worked out, so fuck it.
But I remember as well.
Which is really, really a childish way to think of things, I think.
No,
It is, but
it's human, right?
Yeah.
It's human. But what you're gonna remember though is like the progress that you make is always going to be like different, you know, from like one week to the next. Like some things will be like, you know, you'll have a monumental shift. Yeah. It's like newbie gains in weightlifting, isn't it? You know, like I say, I've started lifting weights again. I haven't lifted a weight in anger for years. Yeah. And now it's like I'm seeing like kilo upon kilo upon kilo going up, you know, and more plates going on. I'm like, great this. But I know it's going to hit the ceiling eventually, and the gains then are going to be really minimal. You know what I mean? But then you got to like, what's the motivator then? You know what I mean? Because the gains start to become very small. You still got to like, you know, take those as wins.
There's always things you can do. You don't have to go up in weight, and I wouldn't recommend it as you get into your 60s. I wouldn't recommend putting 3, 4, 5 plates.
Exactly. Then you start like ripping muscles or something.
Yeah. But however, there are still other ways to improve well into your 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
You know, you can do reps, you can do technique, you can do time under tension, you can also do mobility, resistance training, change the sequence of your training. Like if you don't want to go heavy, do the heavy compounds at the end of a workout and do less weight. And then they're more challenging in a different way because you're depleted, you haven't got the ATP there. There's different ways to structure your workout that you can progress regardless.
Absolutely right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, sometimes have you seen like the marginal gain theory, for example?
Yeah.
Big fan of that. It's like, you know, where what's his name? David Brailsford, isn't it? You know, the British cycling coach at the time.
This is what Atomic Habits was built on.
You know what he was doing, like rather than, you know, looking for like monumental shifts.
The bike, the seat.
It was like the bike, the seat, or change the tire pressure, or you know, he went through like 100 different types of tires to find the one that got like, you know, just a millisecond of extra speed. But all of those little, you know, little gains then add up to big gains.
Acquisition of marginal gains.
Absolutely right. And it's, you know, jiu-jitsu gets like that. Eventually, like, you know, like if you just keep going, eventually and inevitably you will get your black
It's a bit
belt.
of a tedious process sometimes.
It is.
Though,
And this is what exactly, right? So this is the thing. Can you handle it? It's like the mental fortitude you have to have. And coming back to what we were talking about earlier about discipline. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you're saying discipline equals freedom and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
That's where discipline comes into play in my mind. Not motivation. I think motivation is bullshit. Bullshit, right? Motivation is sort of all bollocks, right? Like you read Clive Woodward's book on, it's called Winning. Highly recommend it, right?
Have you got it?
I've got it actually. I'll lend you it. I've got a paperback copy of it, right? And he talks about like motivation just being a load of all bollocks, right? You know, in his view, if you're not motivated to wear the British Lions jersey and have the discipline then to turn up on time, or be motivated, I should say, to turn up on time, do the training, look after your diet, lift weights, keep your cardio up to the level it should be because you're representing the Lions, you have no place in the team. You shouldn't be there. No. You know what I mean? The motivation should come from you, you know? And then what he can teach them then is the discipline needed to succeed at that level. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think...
So, like, in jiu-jitsu, I think it's very similar, you know? There's no instant reward for it, much like weightlifting. You know, you don't, like, do like back and buys and walk out, oh, my God, look at that. Unless you're Flex Lewis, of course, yeah? You know what I mean? You don't instantly walk out and, you know, you got a peak on your bicep, like, you know what I mean?
It's just
you don't get it. It's not visible, you know?
No.
And jiu-jitsu is very much like that.
You've got to keep going, even though it doesn't seem like it. Because I sometimes am turning up and I'm thinking, fuck, I'm not getting any better. If anything, I feel like I'm getting worse.
Yeah, and you will. You will feel that.
Honestly, it's so bizarre. Like sometimes I'm going in there and I'm like, I'm getting worse.
Yeah. But that's because you believe in your own bullshit.
How am I getting?
Honestly. That's just you're not getting worse because what
I'm an
happens
overthinker, which is a problem.
100%,
I think in jiu-jitsu, and that's probably why I think I'm getting worse.
What happens is this, right? I always get this. I always get like white belts coming in, right? And they'll do like say a year of training. And they'll be like, oh yeah, you know, like that guy, you know, he's a white belt but just got his blue belt and he's kicking my ass again now and shit. It's just because he's found something that clicks for him, like, you know what I mean, or her, yeah. And they're able to impose that upon you, but it doesn't mean you're getting worse or going backwards. It's just they've just stepped on the accelerator a touch.
Yeah.
It's like no, they've sat in your draft and just been able to use that just to kind of overtake you just for that moment, yeah. But then they let it get them down, and then they stop putting the effort in. They stop, you know, focusing in the way that they should.
Game,
it is, yeah.
It's all mental.
It completely is, right? And the only reason that black belts become black belts is because they just didn't stop, yeah. You know what I mean? They just didn't stop training. You know, like I'm testament to that. You know, I'm not the greatest black belt in the world, like, you know what I mean, by a far stretch. But I'm a black belt. You know, so I've got a level of proficiency. Yeah, you know what I mean? I can stand by my belt, like, you know what I mean? No problem, right? But it doesn't mean like I'm the greatest out there or anything. There's other black belts out there that are way better than I am. Yeah? It's just the way it goes. But that doesn't mean I should stop training jiu-jitsu and not carry on just because that black belt's better than me.
Yeah, it's one of them. It's like, I like
work on yourself.
I like how you said, "Can you handle it?" Because that's the thing. I've never actually asked myself that question. I didn't think that maybe it was because I'm feeling too weak to be able to keep going.
That's just you getting in your own way and believing in your own bullshit.
But I never asked myself that question. Like, can I handle the suffering every week?
Yeah, that's it.
Even though I'm not getting better every week.
But you are, though. But that's going back to my point, right? A white belt then could come in, right? Yeah, into the gym,
Fernando.
like, you know, that's like fresh off the, you know, the line, like, yeah, and you'll be there now. You've done 6 months of consistent training, right? And you don't realise that you've actually acquired a level of skill, right?
Yeah,
it's just that when you're going against the people who, you know, have been there a while and they've been consistent, it's just they're in pole position over you. That's all. You haven't been able to catch up yet. But then all of a sudden, you get this guy come in and he's never trained in his life, right? Never done jiu-jitsu. Might have been in the gym lifting weights, whatever, right? And that's all the extent of his fitness training is. And then you have a roll with him. And then you manhandle him. And then you're like, fuck, I am getting better. Yeah?
Yeah.
And it really does do that.
It's probably quite difficult for new people coming in.
100%.
Not that it's a bad thing, but because there's usually a level of skill already. Like, when I joined, I was the least experienced in there by about a year's training.
Yeah.
So they'd already developed the foundations where they were building momentum instead of compound.
That's it.
So as they were getting better, I was getting better at a slower rate.
Yeah.
So I never ever thought that I was ever going to be able to beat anyone. But that's not what I was thinking. But I was just thinking, I don't feel like I'm getting better.
Like but that's what I'm saying. It's just your mind fucking with you. Yeah, that's all it is. You are making progress.
Yeah.
You know, incrementally, but that's what I'm on about, the marginal gains bit. You might not be a monumental shift, right? You might have hit your newbie gains, yeah, and it's like, right, the plates aren't getting heavier anymore. Now I've hit my ceiling, right? Now it's going to be doing exactly what you iterated earlier, changing things and tweaking things.
Yeah.
It won't necessarily. If your goal is only to like lift, you know, 8 plates, like, but then it's not within your gift to do, because like the site, you know, proportionately my body weight versus 8 plates is unrealistic. I'd have to be like an ant to lift that kind of shit at my weight.
Yeah,
I will hit the ceiling on it, but that then doesn't mean I should stop weight training. It means doing what you did, change different methods of progression, and looking for different methods.
I mean, I'm not like I'm an editor, right? But I actually don't. I put a whole thing up about this. I don't actually like editing.
Yeah.
You know, what I like is what it does. So, like, I'm not particularly interested. I know this sounds bad, but bear with me. I'm not particularly interested in learning jiu-jitsu techniques.
Yeah.
I'm not excited by a lot of them.
Yeah.
And they're all it's just gibberish to me. The reason I like learning them is because, as you said, it's like, this is now shows whether I am strong enough to handle the discipline of doing
that's one of the biggest tests in it. Right?
What can I? So it's basically when I'm rolling, that is a showcase of my discipline, and that's I'm immensely passionate about that.
Yeah.
I don't really care about the certain angles of arm bars, but I'm gonna learn.
But you will.
I'm gonna. But
eventually.
I'm gonna.
Once
learn
you hit that ceiling of like understanding how an arm bar works, and you can execute that move. And then all of a sudden you're trying to do it on me, and I'm like doing my hitchhiker, reverse hitchhiker escapes and stuff. Now you've got another dilemma.
But it's not about the arm
you've got
bars.
Me. No, I'm just using an example. But you've got me into that position. But now you've got to tweak it, because you have got to get interested in those angles and different grips. Because
I will be.
All of a sudden now you're able to like get me into that position because you've developed a certain acquisition skill, and now you have a new problem to solve, because now you have got my arm extended because you managed to get me there. But now there's another problem. Now Jamie's doing all this change in angle with his elbow and stuff, and reverse hitchhiking, and you know, hitchhiking his way out all the time, and now I've got to fight that. You know what I mean?
But it's what it shows about me as well, isn't
Exactly.
it? So when I'm rolling with someone and they're like, oh, you know, you can do this for me, you do that. What does that say about me as a person?
Yeah.
So if I've been training there 6 months, like first time I turned up, I think was late Feb, early March.
Yeah.
That was quite a while ago now.
Yeah.
And over that period, I reckon I've trained about 40% of the weeks that's elapsed since then.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
probably accurate, I reckon,
Yeah, yeah.
since I first
Yeah.
came. You know, and I would have,
She's like
I would.
20.
Yeah, it's like 10% maybe.
You were like, yeah. No.
Is he believing his own bullshit then, 20%.
All right, fine, fuck it, 20%, whatever it is, I don't care. But you know, I think I could have done a little bit more, and I think the fact that I've been here this amount of time, and I could have been a lot better, and people may expect me to be a bit better since I've been there 6 months.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember speaking to someone, and they thought I said. Not 3 months, but 3 weeks. They thought I said 3 weeks. I'm like, oh, you're doing alright for 3 weeks. I'm like, fuck, I've been here 3 months. Does he really think I'm 3 weeks? And I'm thinking, fuck, maybe I haven't applied myself like we talked about earlier, using time wisely, blah, blah. So what does that, the reason I'm passionate about it is because what does that say about me and my discipline? What does it say about my mental fortitude? I'm interested in the mind. That's what fascinated me about jiu-jitsu. What goes on in your head?
Oh, and like I said before, I said it when we did the the OnlyFans version, right? About Chris Houghton's quote, innit? It's not about who's good, it's about who's left. That resonated, right? I remember, and one of the things that got me back in training, I remember seeing this fucking meme where a guy was like, what was it now? Let me just get this right. There was a picture of a guy with like a cauliflower ear, and it's like, do you want to be like a guy who like walks around with a cauliflower ear who used to know how to fight? And I was like, oh fucking hell, I'm gonna end up being one of those guys. So I need to kick myself in my own ass and get back in the gym and start really going at it again. You know what I mean? You don't want to be, you don't want to do that to yourself. I think, like I say, coming back to what I was talking about earlier on about like not wasting time and using your time wisely and getting the most out of it as much as you can. That's the case in point, isn't it? You've been there all that time. Where could you have been if you had actually not put those excuses in your way and actually applied yourself and just being consistent, even if it was twice a week,
it's hard to actually put yourself in a position where.
But that's what I analyse myself, and that's what I kick my own ass in. See, because I'm like shit. If I decide I'm not going to do it tonight, no, don't be that guy, Jim. My internal dialogue is like, no, don't be that guy. Don't waste the time. Time is very precious right now, and I want to get as much out of it as I can.
Consistently. What are they like? I don't know. I mean, it would be arrogant of me to think that people are like, oh, where's Alice gone? Like all the time.
I don't mind because a lot of people.
But what I'm saying,
they are asking. What happened to him?
But this is what I mean. Like, what are people gonna think if I'm not turning up? What does that say about me? That says. I remember Martha Inan said something to Taz once, or said something to you, because I went running, right, in the mornings. And then I didn't turn up one morning, and he went,
the 5 a.m.
He called me a one-time wonder.
One-time wonders.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm not fucking taking that label. It's true, but I don't want that. I don't want that.
But it's in your gift to change,
and this is why, now that I've started, everybody there now is going to see me for the person that I show them that I am, not the person that I say I am.
That's the thing. That's where the mat's honest in so many levels.
I love it for that.
The level,
peels
like,
you back to
it completely does. Like, and that's what people look at then. Is like, well, where is he then? Why isn't he training? If you don't, like I said, if you go to the gym just and lift weights and stuff, if you don't go, nobody gives a fuck.
The receptionist doesn't care.
She don't give a shit. As long as that fucking membership's getting paid, it's like whatever. But you don't turn up to jiu-jitsu, it's like, ooh, you take some stick for it as well, like, you know what I mean?
I had it as well.
Yeah.
I had it for knocking for 2 years.
So you're back end all the guys disappearing blue belts and stuff.
I've seen that as well. I remember Adam was talking about this as well. I remember I was over here in a conversation he was having with you, saying, I had a couple of weeks off and I was drinking and smoking. And it's similar to me. I mean, no one's perfect. That's not big deal of it. But it's the what I like about it is that I'm going to be forced to suffer a little bit of accountability when I go back. Maybe a lot. But that's what's come into me. And if 100%. I then go, I don't want to go back because I know people are going to be like, oh, come on, where have you been? It's going to make me feel like shit.
What does that say about
I'm a pussy then. I'm just giving up on a bit of discipline.
You're listening to your inner bitch.
And then I'm a fat bitch.
And your ego can't take the dent of it, like, you know what I mean? Because you're like, oh, what are they going to say about me? Who gives a shit?
No, I want to, and I like that because I'm forced to face it head on.
Fucking right.
Face the consequences of your actions and you see them. Not go into the gym.
It's not what they call it.
I can chuck a hoodie on.
Abolishment of responsibility and accountability, innit? It is that, like, you know,
and that's such a pathetic thing.
But it's what you preach as well.
And it's what I believe in, and that's why it hurts me so much, and that's why I can be miserable and negative sometimes. Because I hold myself to. I am a fraudulent man sometimes. I hold myself to really stupidly high levels of expectation.
But you should read that "Don't Feed the Monkey Mind" book, because that's one of the things that like sets off the monkey mind. is there's like 3 like kind of main triggers in the book that they talk about, and one of them is the perfectionist. You know, the pursuit of perfection. You know, setting unrealistic goals, setting unrealistic achievements and things, and then not doing anything or worrying about it and having anxiety about it to the point where they actually don't do anything about it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
me precisely.
So it's like they get that paralysis to analysis, they overthink
Paralysis
it,
to
and then they
analysis.
actually don't.
That happens
they
to
don't
me in
do it.
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I was going nuts once. I remember trying something on you, and we drilled it the day before.
Yeah,
and before I tried it on him.
Yeah.
So I got to the point. It was live rolling. So
Yeah.
I stopped. I was like, "Math, wait." Which is usually like, not the done thing, but I was like, "Math, wait, I really want to give this a go."
Yeah.
And I was there for about 30 seconds. I was there for about 30 seconds thinking, right, how did we do this exactly?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I didn't even know what it all gone, and I was like, "Oh, Matt, fucking help me out here! I can't remember."
Yeah.
And I was getting so annoyed with myself because
it.
I was overthinking it, and all of a sudden it vanished.
Yeah,
Gone.
yeah. But that's commonplace. You know, what all that happens as you get better at jiu-jitsu is that, you know, you'll think less about like individual techniques. Like that's why I talk about it, trying to get it in your heads early on.
Systems.
You know, yeah, look at concepts, ideas, and systems. Yeah, because if you do that, then you know you're not looking through the Rolodex of the question and answer. You know what I mean? It's like, think about like if you were speaking, like learning a foreign language, yeah, and you wanted to get fluency. You know, you need to get it to the point where if you want fluency and to be able to respond, you know, and sound like a native of that country, you have to be able to, you know, like it has to come out straight away. You know, they can tell straight away if you're not, by the speed of response and the accuracy of response.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that takes a lot of time to do that question and answer stuff. You know, it can take years to master. But you know, you got all these, what they call them, polyglots, is it? You know, where they can like speak like loads of language, you know, like instantly, yeah? Because what they do, they don't look at like question answer, you know what I mean?
Not
They
scenario
and scenarios and things like that. They look for trends and patterns in the languages.
Okay.
That's how they do it.
That's how I learn.
Similarities.
Yeah, and similarities and
That's
things.
how I learn
So it's all
anything.
conceptual.
Yeah.
You know, they look at the concepts within each
Yeah,
language,
and
and
it
that's
applies
how
to
they
everything.
can
Yeah.
actually speak them and figure them out that quick. It's phenomenal how they
Yeah.
do it, yeah? But that's what jiu-jitsu's like, you know what I mean? If you get to a point where you can just, you know, not worry, you have to learn a bit of technique when, you know, it's like teaching a kid how to talk, innit? You know, they have to understand, you know, the English language or whatever language it is they're learning, you know? You understand the basics of it, yeah? But once they kind of like can articulate themselves, then the complexity of their language, their thesaurus, their, you know, their whatever, you know, level of vocabulary they develop, that's on them then, depending on how well they understand it. You know what I mean? So that's what jiu-jitsu's like. Well, as you get better and you start to like, you know, okay, there's a couple of techniques that I like, and then you start to understand the ideas behind those techniques rather than the technique itself. You come out to that pause then, see? And then, you know, you start to kind of respond using these ideas and concepts. It's like when I talk about the whole Chris Payne's preet thing about keeping people out your armpit and your and your hip. I don't like think of it as an escape, as a technique or a set of like, I do this A, B, C, D. It's the principle. I'm flat and he's got an underhook. Right. Fuck the technique. Get rid of the underhook and don't be flat. And then I can get out. Happy days. And then I can get into an offensive cycle. Happy days. Yeah. So I'm not thinking of like, okay, did he say put my hand there or was it my other hand? You know
I'm
what I mean?
completely on board with that. It's the same with editing. I will learn a concept. I will learn something like keyframing. You know, which means you can like speed things up, slow things down. You can add zoom in, stuff like that. But that applies to everything. It applies to speed, applies to sound.
Absolutely right.
So instead of learning how do I change the sound here? No, you're going too deep into that because if I learn the concept, what I can do now is I've learned a new toolbox of skills. So that's how I learn things so quickly, and that's how I made the claim at the beginning that I'm the fastest learner. It's because I learned something that allows me to learn a million things in one go.
And that's the thing. Look at the ideas. Look at the ideas.
Learn the roots,
and
and
when
then the tree
jiu-jitsu
will
is
grow.
concerned, when you get back into it, that would be the thing that will stop that. Look at you know, why am I doing this and what makes it work, rather than fussing about is it my left hand, my right hand, or did he grip this way or that way. You get into that later. You know what I mean? Later, once you've got a good vocabulary, then we'll look at that stuff. You know what I mean? Then we'll look at you know, the deeper level of, you know, your you know, the types of words you're using and the complexities of them and stuff like that. First off is look at the concepts, look at the ideas, look at like, you know, the concepts of leverage and distance management, timing, grip work, you know, grip fighting, all that kind of stuff. and then all of a sudden you'll start to make your own shit up. Yeah, it genuinely will, and even that can happen at blue belt, purple belt. You don't have to wait until black belt. That can happen very early on, because the sooner you understand jiu-jitsu on that level and look at it through that lens, your learning will speed up exponentially. Yeah, and your ability to apply the techniques will speed up exponentially. It really will, honestly. So. Yeah, don't get too like bogged down in that. Would be my advice. You know what I mean?
I think it's probably a common thing.
Completely. And I've done it. You know, you become like a technique junkie. You know, like somebody taps you with something. Like, right, first thing, guillotine escape. You know, you're on YouTube. You know, try into, and then you try to remember that. Then when you go back into the gym, and then nobody hits you with a guillotine, and you think, "Fuck, I've just wasted." 4 hours trying to study that. Now no one's hit me with a guillotine.
It's because it's so like you just think, right, that's a defense I can learn. I need to learn that to help me. It just seems like the logical next step.
It does. Yeah, it does.
It's just something that this is why I love it. It's just so much to get your head around.
There's
so much to get your head around.
Well, the only way you're going to get your head around it is by showing up on Tuesday.
I've got to turn.
hold him accountable if he isn't, right?
Yeah, I'm still deciding whether to do this MMA fight. He might be in Bulgaria. In which case I'll come because what I was going to do is not come.
Do you know what? Right, actually, just a sidetrack, right? Actually,
we should wrap up as well because we've got 4 minutes.
I'll tell this story after.
Yeah, I was going to give you an update of my life, and nobody cares. So let's finish the podcast first, and then we'll.
Yeah, it's been a good chat. This hasn't even really. It's been about BJJ, but it's been about like.
No, it has. It's been. It hasn't. Yeah, we've explored a lot of stuff there. To be fair, and a lot of ideas. But that's the thing. I think for me to close off.
Close the speech.
I think like that's the good thing about jiu-jitsu. It does teach you a lot about life. There's a lot of life lessons in there.
Crazy.
I was watching a video with Roger Gracie only a couple of weeks ago on Instagram, and something that he said resonated with me. And that one thing that jiu-jitsu's taught him is that there's always a way out. You know what I mean? And to keep calm, think your way out of things. And when I was talking about work, like before we were on air, and that's the best way to approach these problems. Not with emotion. Don't get frustrated and angry and scared. And if you're trapped in bottom side control, calm down. Breathe, think. There is always a way out.
Your work as well.
Absolutely, and there's always a way out. There's always a way you can think your way out of it, and that's a massive life lesson.
That's probably why I'm so more emotional when it comes to decision making. Because you'll just you're flat there. Whereas I'll go up in intensity, whether it's good or bad.
If you can breathe, you can escape.
Absolutely. If you can breathe, if no one's messing with your breathing, and you can not be flat, get rid of underhooks and all this kind of stuff, and gradually work your way towards that escape and think your way out of it. You know what I mean? Using concepts like timing, and things like that. You will get out, you will. And
you can't just muscle your way around.
But the more you muscle your way around, you're not doing it without any conscious thought. You're leaving openings, and that's what black belts, brown belts, purple belts, and blue belts will exploit. You know what I mean? That's what they're exploiting.
You can put that into life as well. Don't
just
brute force your way out of something. Think about it. Make sure it's a long-term decision and not just
be logical about
scramble that's going to fatigue you.
Don't give it an emotional response. Try to blast my way out of it, fucking fight my way out. No, think your way out of it. You look at the best fighters in the UFC, like Anderson Silva. Remember how calm that guy was? The reason he could hit people with laser precision and in the timing windows that he did, he's just cool and calm. Nothing's bothering him. You know what I mean? He's just in the moment. He's thinking about what he's doing. He's not fighting emotionally. You know what I mean? He is thinking his way through that. His monkey mind is quiet. You know what I mean? His adrenaline is managed. And he's harnessing his logical brain.
That's
thinking.
The goal. I think that's the real goal.
That's a Zen moment.
And that's what I want. I want the Zen.
Flow state, man.
I want the Zen from hard times. Build up, because that's the thing. I feel like I've chosen comfort a lot in my life, and a lot of people will have chosen comfort in their life.
100%.
And if you don't put yourself in a position, I hate going to jiu-jitsu, and we've got a minute on the clock, so we'll wrap up quick. Cool. I hate going to jiu-jitsu because it's hard, and I know it's going to be. I do get scared. I don't want to be choked
Everybody
out.
does.
Because I know it's going to be more me getting tapped, and that's just expected. And it scares me, and I don't like that. I don't like the pain of when somebody does something to me. I don't like it. I'm not a bitch, but it is scary for me. But the more I do it, the more resilient I am. The higher my pain tolerance gets, the higher all my tolerance gets. So when I am in a position where I need to face hard times in anything in life, all of a sudden I have a bare emotional intelligence. My EQ is way higher.
To get out of it.
And that's the goal. That's the reason. It's not to learn armbars. It's kind of what I was trying to say earlier.
No, I agree.
But it's for that. 100%. It's to deal with problems better instead of being, oh my god, fuck, it's all gone wrong.
Absolutely.
Down the pub.
Down the pub. Get on it. Have a cigar, get smashed.
Pack of Sterling do while shaking. the desk.
Yeah.
Jamie, thank you for your time.
Mate, pleasure. Thank you so much, right?
This has been great, this one.
I've
It has
really
been
enjoyed
great.
it. Thank you
And,
so much.
I'll see you in training Tuesday, and so will Alex. No.
Well, if Alex is in, look, God help him, right? And I tell you, he's going to compound and compound.
You just bring a mat down here.
Oh, we could do.
All the boys, one by one, Shark Tank.
Come on, have him Shark Tank him.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
My mother be like, if you deserve this, you want this coming.
You had this coming.
Yeah,
Listen,
anyway.
guys, thank you so much for everything, right?
Oh,
And,
yeah,
thank you
of
for the
course,
support you give to the gym as well.
Yeah, we're going to do
really
some more
appreciate
filming down there as well.
And
Yeah.
we got some plans as well, but we're not going to speak about them right now, are we?
it. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Good.
okay.
Thanks, guys.
Cool.
Thank you, Jamie.
See you later, guys.
Thank you for watching, everyone. And
Thank
we'll
you,
see
guys.
in the next one.
What's that?